Episode 6. Hey there, hi there. Hello everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of the Barkside. My name is Wilson, and my friend right here is hello,
Hello, my name is Tara. I'm from Pet
Tara.
in the City. I'm from Dilworth Dog Grooming. Here I is.
You've gotten really good at the intro of yourself. Look at you.
And I'm doing better. A
Uh,
little more
episode
comfortable.
episode 6. Quick update. We're up to I think 98 followers on the Instagram. So thanks for following us there on the gram. We know why you are all tuning in. Episode 6. We've been teasing this. We've been hyping up about it. Here we go. Our thoughts on the Oscars. Go, Tara. What'd you think?
Well, I don't
You didn't
watch the
watch.
Oscars.
No, you didn't watch. But it's Monday when we're taping this, and yeah, I did watch the Oscars, so that was kind of crazy. And there was a dog in the Oscars, so I
As
was
you
kind
were
of like, yeah,
saying.
it was great. But Tara doesn't watch any of that stuff because, quite frankly, she has a life, and she's a small business owner, and she's
That's
out
right.
there doing science on dog food for you people out there. So that's where we're at. We did get a couple questions on Instagram. We got a very nasty message. Our YouTube page was taken down by somebody. What was the name? Pat Rena? Oh, Purina. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But if we were ever going to get banned and noticed,
It would have
it
been
would be
last
this.
week. Yeah.
So no, maybe this week.
Maybe we could try it.
And shout out to our friend Rick, to our one of our guests here on the show. That was pretty good stuff. And then also our friends over at CMPD Animal Care. They've shared a couple of these things here as well, and they're doing the renovations there. We'll get an update on them in just a couple of weeks. But thanks, we love you. Part two from last week. When you were last with us, ladies and gentlemen, we had a bit of a bombshell, and you've heard from a few people this week about similar experiences. For the people that are just tuning in, the recap of all this is dun dun dun. You got an email from who that said what?
I got an email from a major dog food corporation back and I think when I was researching it, it was 2019, thanking me for keeping up with their brand, which I didn't carry, and it was made to the vet, which I am not, so it was a mistake, and offered me $500 for being such a good support during their time of need. And their time of need was actually a vitamin D recall. The vitamin D levels were so high that they harmed dogs and killed a few of them. And that's why I got it. So I cannot find the email. I'm putting it out there. I did
Well,
find
other
this.
people got the email. You got email for us.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know we
yeah.
don't need to get
Sure.
into
I
that.
think I sent you a link of showing you online where people got it, but I cannot find it.
Tara was going full 60 minutes on herself and started doing the biometric feed on her email and was like, email came, whatever. Other people got the email. We don't need to, we're not going to
Right.
2020 this. So my surprise with that as kind of just being the dog lover, kind of on the outside, but on the inside, just asking questions here. Why would a dog food company be sending out emails thanking people for their support? I mean, I get that part, but also offering what or who they thought was a vet. Why would they be offering vets $500 for their loyalty? That really was just something that shocked and surprised me, and that's kind of
Sure.
the headline here, I think, of this story. And we were really just kind of getting into that. So you've had interactions with other people kind of in your world, in your orbit here. What's kind of the conventional wisdom here on people getting these emails? I think you said somebody was a dog walker that got one of the emails. Like if they're sending emails out to dog walkers, pet stores, thinking that they're involved in with medical work of dogs, they've cast a pretty wide net. Like they're just kind of throwing it out there, throwing a lot of money around.
Sure.
Um, what's kind of in your world here? What's kind of the thoughts on all of this now that this has been going on for a while?
Well, I mean, that's just a little tiny part of a very big, broad picture of how vets are taught nutrition. And again, I think I mentioned it last week, they get their nutrition from the big three, which would be Purina, it would be Mars, and it would be Hills. Um, and so they don't learn outside of that. And let me tell you, Mars themselves, they own Banfields, they own VCA hospitals. I think that's what they are. They have a whole they own Imes, Eukanuba, Royal Canin, they big major brands. Um, and what are they going to promote? Purina, what are they going to promote? They both carry major prescription diets, which I've already told you is nothing very prescription about it. And Hills is the dog food that is made from science, and that's what they've always toted. And yet, there's a lot to say, and I don't know where to start bringing in how this thing works, but that's
I
where
think,
they get their nutrition. And again, not the fault of the vet. They're just being fed this information over and over and over.
well, you go to school, you learn things. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention the last couple of years, but I'm amazed at the things that I learned in school that apparently other people didn't, science. I'm also amazed at the things that weren't in some of my books, history books, that I've learned here in the last couple of years. So we're all learning, and again, we're just asking questions here. So when
Sure.
you say it's not the vet's fault. They went to these schools that were financially involved with companies, and that's not
Sure.
a rare thing. That happens a lot.
Sure.
When we're talking about health and science and medical things, if again, I made the reference to The Fugitive and the One Armed Man and that movie with Harrison Ford, it's a great movie. Um, where there was some stuff going on with a big company, and some of the doctors were like, "Hey, we're going to take this fishing trip. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, and it's fine. And we just have to give the people this
Right.
thing." It kind of goes into that vein a little bit, and that's not you saying that. I'm just kind of asking the question here. You work with the public. You've been doing this for years and years now, and as how should consumers watching us discuss this? I feel like we're kind of setting this up and people are watching this and they're like, okay, what should consumers be concerned about? And what should consumers maybe be asking the awkward questions of their vet? And if they see a certificate on the wall of their vet that looks like it came from a place that has dog food or something. I don't know what as and this is tough because you sell dog food. Um what should the consumer be asking? What should they be looking for? What should they be concerned about or not be concerned about, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, when you come to see me, you should ask me everything and anything, and have me or the staff explain the reasons why things are better than other things. I mean, we could talk about kibble, and I could talk about what's a better kibble, and we can go down that road. But we could also go down the road of gently cooked. We could go down the road of raw, which is actually the best food to feed your dog and cat. Not everyone can afford all that stuff. So why can't you take your dollar? And I think I referenced that $120 bag of Royal Canin specifically bred. Why can't you take that dollar amount and get a better bag and maybe even save a few bucks or two? There's no reason why we can't do that. There's no reason why you can't spend $100 and get a bag full of meat, or as close to meat as you can in a kibble. So, I mean, I'm a realist. I don't think that um, I don't think everybody can feed raw. And I think if they plan on doing it themselves, they should really learn and investigate. But realistically, a lot of people can't afford to do that. So why can't you take that dollar and instead of investing in a company that has always been a little shady, in a place where is in a business that's unregulated, and let the people like me who has dedicated their lives to check and recheck and put these companies in check and promote what they want because they've thought it through help. A vet's only going to know those things. Not all vets most of them though. And that's all they know. And that's what they trust because they've been told to trust them. And just like I'm asking you to trust me. Not for
Yeah, but
anything though. Big
well, no,
business.
yeah, but you're an independent pet store owner,
Sure.
and you're local, and you're not, as far as I know, you're not all that beholden to some of these companies or wherever, and you get to choose what goes into your store. And just for clarity's sake, you can also just kick people out of your store, so don't go in there acting all crazy. Um, um, so that comes with a little bit more because there's not a lot of independent pet companies, stores, locally owned around.
There isn't.
So that means something to me. Okay, so that's the pet food thing. We kind of the awkward question with the vet. I am sitting there, not me, but let's just say me, in my vet office, and the vet is, and I'm doing the dog is up on the little counter there, and I'm kind of looking around, and there's a certificate from a big pet food company. What does that mean? Like,
Well,
is that a reason to ask questions of my vet when they off say, "Hey, you should get food from this company here, who also has a certificate up on the wall." If the vet was, so for me, what you said something right there kind of hit me, and the science and the medical and my dog, and I love my dog, you know this. If that's all the vet knows, a vet is a medical professional, and that shouldn't be all they know because if there's new information out there, science they should maybe look into that a little bit more. We kind of the first episode, the part one of this, go back and watch. We kind of talked about, hey, this is going to get a little awkward. This could get heated. Some people really kind of have their lanes that they're into, and why are they in those lanes? Well, is it because they're funded? Is it because they went to school here and that's all they know? Is it because that's just how it's always been? Um, so I guess the big me putting you on the spot here a little bit, should people maybe ask some questions or investigate their choice of medical professional for their animal, their vet? Should they maybe take another look and maybe get a second opinion?
I'll tell you, one of the questions a vet would ask at any given, if they're just regular vet, they always ask, what do you feed your dog? And some vets will make you feel bad about choosing something other. And I've heard that conversation more often than not in the store. Um, just like me having this conversation and people hearing this and they're upset because they think I'm smarter than a vet. And that's not what I'm saying. But the vet that doesn't necessarily invest a lot of time into nutrition, and they just, again, repeating myself, they're just taught what they're taught. They're going to ask that question, and a lot of them will make you feel bad for choosing something. I mean, we can go on to the great DCM debacle, is what I call it. There's a condition where dogs have, you know, heart. It's a genetic heart disease. It also can be. It also can happen with food, but this is good. This is a long conversation, and I don't know how much people are going to want to listen to this. But there was a time when the vets, a few years back, had a list of foods not to feed because it caused a certain heart condition called DCM.
Right.
DCM. I mean, it's great for people to learn about DCM. You can medically get it through bad nutrition, but when it came out and when it was disproven or not proven. It was never proven. The FDA did all their things. I had a wonderful acquaintance person that took me on, and he's a true vet nutritionist that was actually going up against the big three and got death threats about it, um, because he felt it wasn't true. And they poisoned the minds of vets that grain-free foods were bad. More importantly, that peas or legumes were bad. And this was what the vets were telling people. So all the good foods that these people were feeding, everything, or a lot of the things that I carry in the store, were poisoning dogs all of a sudden. And this went on for, I mean, I think it was last year, maybe 6 months ago, the last reports came out saying there's no proof of any of this. So
So, but going back to what you just said, where you said the vets, there's some big vet schools that are also funded where they have big buildings with
Tufts
dog food
University, yep, is
names on the
yep.
buildings.
It's yeah, they're funded by particular grants and things and
So it
stuff.
doesn't take a medical degree to realize the
Oh no, yeah, I
connection
mean I
there.
could again I could pull out proof and we can
Yeah,
do the
yeah, I
whole
got you. I got
chart and all that stuff, but I will
you. So,
tell
okay.
you.
So let's break it down to just a really simple level here. You're in your vet office and you see something that is like, oh, I remember those guys talking about it. Is there a question that people can ask their vet? Or like is there something if they're talking about their dog and nutrition, if they're concerned about heart health of their dog, is there a certain way that people should ask questions? Is there a certain because that's all we're doing here is asking questions. And our purpose here is to, entertain a little bit, but to also to educate and just kind of throw these things out there. If someone is concerned about the food that they're feeding their dog right now, is that a question, obviously, for their vet? What questions should they ask? And if they aren't satisfied with those questions, what do you think they should can do?
So the problem is going to a regular vet, not a naturalist or a
Yeah.
holistic vet, is that you're going to get the same canned response throughout, unfortunately. Um, and they're going to recommend what they know, and that's it. And
Your regular vet is more concerned with overall health, vaccines, and what your dog ate,
I
swallowed,
would
is
think
in
they
their
should
gut.
be too. I mean, they should.
Yeah.
That's what I always say: surgeries, broken
Yeah.
bones, ear
Yeah.
infections, all that stuff. That's what they should know. I get not putting in a lot of time for food because you don't think about it and you think that kibble is all the same, but it's
Well,
not.
it's the same as people. We have our general practitioners that have some knowledge, but then you also have nutritionists. So I get what you're saying there.
Right, right, right.
So if someone watches us now and they're like me because we just talked before we started recording here, and I was like, I looked at the snacks I give my dog and all this kind of stuff. And they have questions about some of the stuff they've gotten, and they kind of want to learn more. What are some good resources for them to kind of independently kind of look into this if they want to
So
do more?
if they want to learn more about dog food, there's a couple good books. One of them is written by a vet. You could get the Forever Dog. You can go to your locally owned pets supply store or pet store. Generally speaking, um, they do it because they love it and it's not a big business for them. They're not getting rich. What they're doing is doing it because they love it and they're going to give you their honest opinions about everything. There are things you could watch on TV, and I think we talked about Pet Fooled is a
Yeah.
good intro to
Yeah.
what to see. Um, you're not going to get this great advice through like I hate to say like a PetSmart or a Petco. They're limited on what they carry, although Petco's getting into the game a little bit faster.
Do we need to bleep that?
you
Okay,
may
no,
want to you may
the
want
producer
to
said we're okay. We're okay.
but that's the deal, you know. And you also have to figure out,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me I think people get that. Um, you just hit on something there that I think kind of gives us a we could do part four, five, six, seven of this.
I could go
Um,
for days for
and
real.
we'll talk about this again. But you just hit on something here that I kind of is a little bit of a bridge to kind of help us put for now kind of a little stay tuned. We'll more later. Um, independent pet stores. It's something that really any kind of small business now, but we already mentioned there's not a lot of them around. It's something that you said, something that people love. You're one of those people. You've been doing this for a couple of years now. Challenges with any small business, especially with the topic matter at hand here, on top of everything else. Um, what made you want to do this? What made you want to be that little pet shop just north of Matthews down there? Why are you doing this? Why? I've seen a little bit behind the scenes now.
It's
It's a lot of
funny.
work. Why are
It's a
you
lot
doing
of
this?
work, and you know, and I wanted to do something, and I wanted to make Charlotte proud. And for some, my heart has always been in the pet market. I know a lot
Yeah.
about all of it, and my heart's always been there. And I was getting to a big age, and I figured if I didn't do it now, I would never do it. And secondly, I was watching all these, and I'm still watching all these, franchise led pet supply stores coming in. And not to say some of them aren't good, but I was really mad that they were coming in, and we have nothing really like it here in Charlotte. You go to any other major city, and there's tons of us. We're all there, and we all help each other, and we all, but Charlotte doesn't have that. And I wanted to be that. And maybe I don't know how it's driven. It's just my heart saying, I want to do something for Charlotte. I want to be the person Charlotte comes to for their dog advice. I'm tired of these other corporations popping up, and I wanted to do it honestly.
Um, when did you first, what made you want to get into the pet world all those years ago? What was that first thing that made you want to go? You felt this tug to kind of do this, like that very first thing. What was that
I,
first thing
I mean,
that made you?
I worked in so many different areas in the pet world. A lot of them has been in retail, but my first job was in a major adoption agency in Long Island, New York, where I'm born and raised there. And I love pets and dogs. I just love them, and cats. I always did. And I watched and worked, and I actually helped pick up dogs from shelters to get them to the rescue. It was a very big rescue, so I learned a lot about rescue and what dogs go through, and also behind the scenes politics on things. And that was in the beginning when I was in my early 20s. Actually, I could have been even younger than that, early 20s. And then I just kept going and was retail for years. And I took a little break, and then I did some wholesale. I did some afterlife care, which was
Yeah,
interesting for about a year.
yeah,
But it's just been in my blood. I love, I just love them. I go
yeah.
into Dilworth, and there's dogs everywhere. It's all cage free. And my favorite part of the day is when I go in there and the dogs recognize me, and I don't do the grooming or anything. And they just come and they say hi to me. And you know, I love that. That's the best part.
I think it's I had a joke going on the TV show for a while where I can't do cats. I'm just allergic to cats and all this kind of stuff. And I've
Right.
always had kind of I had a dog as a kid that was really my friend. And you kind of the life and the work and everything else, and then the dog we have now. It's kind of funny. I think the people that I've connected with, or Melissa, and just I don't think she mind me saying that, and my friend Monica, and a few people, I think the people that I know that really go above and beyond for dogs are people who have been through some stuff and kind of see they have a need there to kind of help, because I think helping helps people.
Sure.
But also just dogs are just amazing, and just that love that you get there, that for whatever reason just kind of helps. I just know that coming through, the craziness of the pandemic for me personally, and some of the stuff going on before that the dog I have now, George, is just I don't know how without my family, without that dog. I don't know, man, because
Right.
God Almighty, it was just the best. So that's it for me. So what would let me ask you this, and then we'll wrap it up here. What's different? This will be kind of a fun one for you here before we get too deep into our psychotherapy of why we like dogs and we're damaged people. Um, what was different about working with dogs up in Long Island and then coming down here to Charleston, I mean Charlottetown, I mean Charlottesville, I mean Charlotte. What's the difference of working in dogs in Long Island and working with dogs in Charlotte, North Carolina?
Oh gosh, nothing. Nothing.
Really?
Because really, I mean, it's just the scenery. It may have
Aren't the
better dog food now.
aren't the bagels better up there?
Well, you got bagels, you got your pizza. You can't beat both. Those are two things.
Let's really listen. I know we were kind of really
And the
thinking the dog.
beach.
Well, yeah, I thought the dog food thing would be really controversial, but if you really want to get our YouTube page kind of lit up here, is there good pizza in Charlotte?
Uh, there's some that are pretty good. Actually, honestly, should I shout out someone? They don't even know I like them. I like Sal's. Makes a pretty good pie.
Sal's, where,
I do I do the one on Monroe Road up. We'll do it like, yeah. Sal's is pretty good. Tony's is pretty good. I used to like Fuel, but they're kind of gone.
fuel's gone. Yeah, the
Hmm.
pizza thing got a little weird there. We don't need to talk too much about that, but there's
Yeah,
a few pizza things that got a
sure.
little
You asked.
hashtag yoga moms. Okay. There you go. We had fun. Thanks for this. I know this was kind of a tough one with the dog food. There's so much there. We'll talk about dog food again. Any questions you got, get to us here on our Instagrams. Thanks again to the followers there and the shares. And just thanks for watching. And that was the Barkside. Tara, thank you.
Thank you. See you next week.